What's up guys, I'm s7yler, and in this video I'm going to review the stylish Elephone P9000 with Android 6 Marshmallow, which is part of the next evolution of mid-range China smartphones with a very thin bezel. So without further ado, let's get started. So Elephone have been on the market for some time now, and lately they have been known for budget models like the P6000, P7000, P8000, M1 and M2. And what I have noticed is that really many users have complained about the thick bezel that these models have. With the P9000 this is now for the first time going to change, and the bezel is now so incredibly thin that most users should be happy. No ugly black border around the display and no wasted space in the sides. It just looks outstanding and very premium, and this is a great step forward for Elephone. So the P9000 is actually a strange mix of high and mid-range hardware. I say mid because inside we find the Helio P10, which is by MediaTek considered a mid-range SoC and not like the X10 high-end. That also means that the AnTuTu score will be slightly lower than seen on devices using the X10 SoC, and that could for sure be a letdown for some users. But it still offers high-end features like NFC, wireless charging, Gyroscope sensor, CNC metal frame and 4GB RAM. So it definitely also has some cool highlights to offer. On the front we have a very thin bezel, and when the display is off you can't see where it starts and ends. It has a 5.5 inch 1080p Full HD display from LG, and overall I'm extremely impressed with the quality. It is surprisingly nice and crisp to look at, with natural colors and good viewing angles. For me it beats any other display found on previous devices from Elephone. In the top we find an 8MP OmniVision front-facing camera, the light and proximity sensor and the ear speaker, which sounds really good combined with HD sound. Further below we find one capacitive touch button, just the home button. It will not light up when pressed, but it can be used as a notification LED for missed SMS or calls. The smart thing about this single button is also that you can set it up to act as a back button combined with a normal home button. Tap it one time to go back and tap it twice to return to home. Besides that, you can also enable on-screen buttons if you're more into normal navigation with back, home and menu. And with a small arrow you can also easily hide them again, so they will not take up extra space on the screen. On the back side, which is non-removable, we find a very fine sandstone finish, not as rough as on the OnePlus 2, but very similar, and this gives the phone a very good grip in the hand. We also find a 30MP Sony IMX 258 rear camera, a strong dual tone LED flash, laser focus and a fingerprint scanner that also support tap to wake and unlock. Inside it has a 3000 mAh battery that supports wireless charging and fast charging in about 2 hours. And I did a measurement of it, and the capacity turned out to be very close to the promised 3000 mAh. While I tested the phone I was able to use it for about one whole day with average usage, but not much more. And I think the main reason is because of wake logs. I monitored the activities with GSM battery monitor and discovered that it was actually held awake many hours. So I hope that Elephone are going to optimize this further and send out some OTA updates, because this is currently for me one of the biggest complaints with this model. The phones also support NFC, so there will also be a special NFC chip located inside. The back cover was not meant to be removed, but it is possible to remove it. Okay, so I already removed the back cover, and you can see that here. And what I did was to use a headphone jack stick to lift up the cover in the top where we have the hole, and then use a credit card to go around the edge all around. And it may be a little bit hard then to get off. You have to carefully from the bottom slide the card inside. To lose these stickers here, there are some glue. Also got a little bit of trouble here on this layer because this side here began to lift off a little bit, but again, just use the card to get underneath and remove it. So let's see the back side. We see this is a 3000 mAh. Of course, they can put any sticker on, so we shouldn't always trust that, but in this case the sticker is actually true, because I measured the capacity of the battery and it's very close to the 3000. And let's have a look at the back cover. So this, I believe, is for the wireless charging and maybe also for the NFC. And let's have a closer look at the buttons. So the buttons are a bit loose, and you can also see that here in the power button. In the bottom we find the USB Type-C port with OTG support, the microphone and dual grills. But the sound will actually only come out of the right side, so the left one is only there to align the design. Regarding the sound of the built-in speaker, it is pretty loud, sometimes even too loud, and the quality has improved over previous Elephone models, but it is still nowhere near what you can find on a HTC One. I would just wish that Elephone would take the step and put some really high-end stereo speakers into their phones, because for some users this really makes a difference. The corners look very premium, the metal frame around is CNC made and the edges are nicely polished. On the right side we find the power and volume buttons, and they are unfortunately not completely solid. If you shake the phone you can hear them rattling. Elephone are clearly not alone with this problem. In fact, I yesterday tried the Huawei Mate S and it had exactly the same kind of loose buttons on the side. It is very strange that they don't make them stiff and solid, as it should really not be a problem in the production and design phase. In the top we only find a 3.5mm hole for the headphone jack, which provides very loud and good sound. But I would wish that they had placed the hole in the center of the frame instead of on the edge to the back cover. And last, on the left side we find a Smartbutton that can be set up to start any app or mute the phone instantly. We also see a dual micro SIM tray that support dual SIM or single SIM plus one micro SD card. So maximum 2 cards at the same time. This is not a 2-in-1 tray. So let me open up the dual micro SIM tray and let's have a close-up of the tray. So let me first try to wake and unlock using the fingerprint scanner. As you see, this is working good. It also supports double tap to wake, off-screen gestures, for example M to start the music player. And let's play some music to test the built-in speaker. It also supports flip to mute, so you can, for example, very quick mute the player by turning the phone around. The smart button can be used to mute the phone instantly if you hold it down, and start an app, for example YouTube, if you just press it one time. Slide 3 fingers down to take a screenshot, or do it to the side instead to open the recent apps. The UI is fast and smooth, and the ROM comes almost clean. Most of the apps you see here are some test apps that I installed myself. Let me also demonstrate the double function in the home button. 1 tap is like back, 2 taps is back to home. But in the settings you can also activate normal on-screen buttons, and with a small arrow in the side you can also hide them again. So next up, let me test the wireless charger. Here you see what happens when I place the phone on the pad. Just notice that you need a normal micro USB cable, which isn't included from the start. It would have been smarter if this also used the USB Type-C, just like the phone. Let's also have a closer look at the flip cover. It has a very nice window with the clock, and in the settings you can also change the background color. And the wireless charging of course still works with this cover attached. And last, let me also quick show you the TPU clear plastic cover. Good for people who don't want to hide the phone's design away. Now to a test call, where I will let you listen to the volume of the speaker and the ear speaker.
To change your personal options, no messages in your voicemail box. To listen to your messages, press 1. To change your personal options, press 2.
So the Wi-Fi, reception and connectivity works really great in this phone. While I tested it, I didn't experience any kind of problems. And it of course also supports both 2G, 3G and 4G LTE. Here you see the camera. What I noticed is that it is a little bit slow to start up. Not sure why, but I guess that Elephone still need to optimize a little bit on this. We have color filters, picture in picture. We have the camera settings. Let me just scroll fast through these. And here you see a sample picture. And as always, I will also provide a link in the description to some camera samples in high resolution. To see the quality, I suggest to take a look at these and be the judge yourself. The camera is in my opinion okay. It does the job, but clearly still needs some optimization. Let me now test the camera in the dark, just with the dual LEDs, and let's see how good it managed to take a picture. The dual LEDs on the back side are okay strong, not the strongest I have seen, but they do give a lot of light. And let's also have a look at the viewing angles. First here from the bottom. Overall, very good viewing angles and colors. So here you see the quick toggles. Let's try out the highest and lowest brightness. And now let's go through the settings. We have turbo download that combines Wi-Fi and mobile data. Both SIM cards can be used for data. It's very easy to switch in the settings. So here you see the NFC and the different settings. Inside display we have mirror vision and the sensors can be calibrated, and there are also some settings for the S-View cover. Next we see the internal storage, and of course I have used some for some games and test apps right now. Then we have the LED notification in the home button, the phone memory, and right now there is 2.2 GB free of total 4 GB. Then there's the fingerprint scanner, not much to see in here. We have languages, also very standard. Then we have the off-screen gestures, system motion, settings for the Smartbutton on the side, so you can open any app, flip to mute settings, the laser focus, and the on-screen navigation bar. And last, the developer options and about phone. And here you see the build. There's also support for OTA, wireless updates, and it's running with Android 6.0 Marshmallow. So that's it for the settings. In the rest of the video I will show you some results from different test apps, and in the end I will run a game and tell you about the pros and cons, so stay tuned if you want to know more. And let's end this with my pros and cons. First, the pros. It has an amazing design with a very slim bezel. It has an excellent display from LG that just looks outstanding. It has USB Type-C with reversible connector, so that's very convenient. It has extremely fast charging speed from 0 to 100% in only 87 minutes. It has very fast, stable and accurate GPS with Glonass support. And also the Gyroscope and e-compass sensor works really fast and good. Also it has many nice features like NFC, wireless charging and a Smartbutton and laser focus. It supports 5 GHz Wi-Fi and LTE Band 20 support. And last, it has a notification LED in the home button, but only in white. Two of the cons are that the side buttons are not totally solid and feel a little bit loose. In the tray, a SD card will take up one SIM slot, so either dual SIM or single SIM with one SD card. The battery capacity is real, but will not last longer than max one whole day with normal usage. The built-in speaker is improved and loud, but is nowhere near what you can find on a HTC One. It doesn't have any normal hardware touch buttons, only one for the home button, and there is no backlit. The phone uses the Helio P10, which is the mid-range SoC, so it will perform slightly below the X10. Also, there is no 4K recording, not really a con, but this would still have been a nice feature to have. And I must also say that recorded videos doesn't look as good as still pictures made with the camera. And last, the back cover was not meant to be removed. You can remove it, but the battery inside is non-replaceable. So the question, can I recommend the Elephone P9000? The answer is yes. Overall, this phone offers tons of nice features that are rarely seen on China smartphones in this league. For the first time we see NFC, wireless charging, a smart button, laser focus and a fingerprint scanner on a phone from Elephone. The design and build quality is outstanding. The only real downside on this device is the battery, which doesn't deliver more than max 1 day. But this seems also to be software related, so I hope Elephone are going to tweak this further and send out a wireless update to improve this. Then this device would be almost perfect. So this concludes my review. I'm s7yler, and if you liked the video, please hit the like button and subscribe for more. Comment below if you have any questions. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.